Thank you so much for having me, everyone. Thank you so much, John, for the introduction and for the opportunity to be able to talk about a topic that I know a lot of business owners, small business owners, will help here in Alberta, and also a topic that I'm incredibly passionate about. My name is Crizel, and I'm a digital marketing strategist here at Business Link Alberta. And we're going to spend the next little while working through some practical strategies that you can hopefully start using today. So first, I want to just begin with the land acknowledgement. Business Link Alberta acknowledges and respects that we are on traditional land, meeting grounds, territories, gathering places, and traveling routes of Treaty 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10, and the home of many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge the lands of those who have come before us, reside here now, and in the future. Okay. Oops. I apologize for that. Okay, so I want to know what kind of business you guys have. If you can just drop it in the chat, just so I have an idea on the people that I'm talking to and the businesses that you guys have. Veterinary hospital, agriculture, home-based sewing company. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. So first, I want to just set the stage of why we are here. So before we dive anything, I want to just take a second to think about that. Maybe you want more customers. Maybe your website isn't working. Maybe you've tried social media and it feels like your efforts are not paying off exactly how you expected. Maybe you're trying to save your business, or maybe this picture describes how you feel about digital marketing for your business. Um, just tell me why you're here, and let's just set the stone and set an attention on why we're here and what we want to learn today. And I'm going to let you know why I'm here today. And my goal is simplicity. And maybe because you are throwing spaghetti at the wall and sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe there's just so much information out there and you feel like there's analysis paralysis. Who here can relate to that? Maybe you don't really know where to put your efforts and you're not sure if there's any return to those efforts. Maybe you're here because you just want to learn a little bit more. And my personal goal, like I said, is just simplicity, because I know how overwhelming it can be as an entrepreneur to wear all of the hats, to do everything yourself, to have it all, to figure it out on your own. And my one goal today is to make digital marketing less overwhelming. So let's have some fun and let's learn together. Going through the agenda today, I know this looks like a lot, but in order to set a really good foundation for your digital marketing, we need to know the basics. We need to know the value proposition and target market. I also like to infuse a little bit of consumer psychology in my marketing and how consumers find you. And the main topics would be website optimization, search engine optimization, social media marketing. These are the topics that are really big in the digital marketing right now. And you probably have already dabbled into it, but we'll get more into it in a way that would possibly give you the practical steps in order to move forward and marketing your business in the digital world. So digital marketing basics ultimately is getting in front of the right people to find you, trust you, and choose you online. I really like this definition because it's short, it's simple, because digital marketing is not really about going viral either. It's not really about having a huge following. It's not about spending thousands of ads. It's really just about showing at the right place for the right person at the right time. But the biggest question is, how do you do that? And that is what this workshop is for. And my hopes is to give you answers that you are looking for. This is ultimately your client's digital journey. And I want you to notice how the customers is always at the top. And your customer online is has a problem and is already searching for that solution, right? And and after they go online, how do people find you? Awareness is how people find you once they identify that there is a problem. The nurture part is how you build that relationship with them once they find you. The conversion is how you convert them from someone who just found you into a potential customer that is a paying client, right? And then for retention, how you keep them from coming back. And then referral is how they talk about you, because word of mouth is still the number one marketing strategy that works the best. But how do we get them to refer you to their network, right? So this is ultimately what we take our digital marketing clients here at Business Link is to making sure that each client that we help know how people are finding them, how they're building a relationship with them, how they're converting them into a paying customers, and how they retain and refer those customers in their world as well. And but before we get into the actual strategies, have you ever felt like your market is too saturated? Have you ever felt like there's too much competition and there's no room for you? Well, today I want to challenge that
Hello.
because, yeah. Oh, sorry. Please. Oh, I think did someone ask a question or someone was just unmuted? Okay, no worries. I'll just continue then. So I just want to challenge the when you're starting to think that the market is too saturated for you, because why do new brand of shoe brands, for example, still launch when Nike and Adidas exist? Why do new burger joints still open when McDonald's sells millions literally every single minute around the world? Because people don't just buy a product, they buy from the business that feels right for them. There is always a room for you. And when you are clear on who you're serving and what makes your business different, that clarity will separate you from your competitors. And that's exactly what the value proposition and target audience is about. And I really like this quote by Simon Sinek. I won't dive in too much for with his work, but he's a really big marketing guy. And I really like this definition of value proposition about people don't buy what you do because they buy why you do it. And yeah, it's the answer to the one question every single customer is silently asking before they decide to buy, right? Why should they choose you? It's the benefit that the customer gets. And the honest truth is that most businesses have never actually sat down and answered that question clearly. But when we take the time to answer that question clearly, our marketing strategies also gets clear. Our messaging also gets clear. Because what happens when you're not clear, right? The marketing feels clear. Your potential customers scroll past your content. They don't understand your website. And this is the things that we're going to be talking about today and diving into as well. Okay. So going back to the target audience isn't just who you sell to, it's why your business exists to serve in the first place. And most of us start a business with an idea, right? And that's wonderful. And that's also how most people start. But what happens over time is the businesses that grow and the ones that actually last, they shift, they evolve, they stop asking the question of like, how do I sell my product? and they start asking, what does my customer actually need, right? So Seth Godin said it best, don't find customers for your products, find products for your customers. And what that means is that when you truly understand who you're serving, their pains, their problems, their desires, what keeps them up at night, what they're dreaming about, you stop guessing what to create and your customer tells you ultimately. And that is what your target audience really is. It's not just the demographic of um, age 25 to 45, female, living in Edmonton or Alberta. It's the real human being behind the real problems that your business was built to solve. Okay. So when you get that clear, your marketing stops feeling like a chore because you're not trying to convince anyone. You're just showing up for the people who already need you. So I want to ask you right now, and if you can just also drop it in the chat, who is your target audience? Who exactly are you talking to? And it is not everyone, it is not anybody. It's who's the right person, the one whose problem you solve best, right? Many of us think that our product or our service is everyone, and I get it. We want to serve everyone, but when you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. But when you're talking to a specific demographic where you really know their pains, their problems, their desires, and the problem that you're solving, it's much easier to quote unquote sell and market that way than if we were trying to target all the people in the world, right? Okay. Would you agree with this as well? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And I want you to really think about that for a second. And think about the last person you hired for yourself, the last product you bought, the last business you referred a friend to. Did you know them? Oh, sorry. Did you know them? Did you like them? Did you trust them? Right? I'm willing to bet the answer that is you did. And if it's not just one of those things, I bet it's all three. And now I want to ask you, even more important, how many of you are actively applying this to your own marketing? Because this is consumer psychology in action, the knowing, the liking, the trusting. And this is just beyond a quote. It's the entire formula behind why people choose one's business over the other. So I want you to think of your marketing isn't just about being seen. Yes, it's a big part of visibility, but it's about being known. It's about being liked and being trusted by your people. And that is what we're building today. So consumer psychology is ultimately understanding why your customer buys. The study of how thoughts, emotions, and behaviors influence the way people make purchasing decisions, right? Consumer psychology has been studied for decades in the world of marketing and business. And what research has found is that people don't buy based on logic, right? People buy based on emotions. They buy things because it makes them feel something, because it makes them trust a brand, because the brand took the time to nurture that trust through marketing, through their content, and through showing up consistently, right? They buy because they feel seen, they feel understood. Just think about the last time you bought without knowing the person behind the business, right? And what that means for us business owners is that every piece of content that you create, every caption you write, every page on your website, it's either building that feeling of trust with your brand or it's not. And the businesses that understand this, they ultimately stop selling their products. They just start connecting with the people that they're serving. And ironically, that's actually when people buy. So, just in a nutshell, consumer psychology, take a screenshot of this. These are the factors that your customers are thinking before they decide to purchase from you, especially when they've never heard your business before. And yeah, so do they feel seen? Do they think they can trust you? Will your product or service actually solve their problem? You know, do I relate to them? Do I feel heard? Like, that's why it's important that we know our target audience and our value proposition, because when we know that, it's easier to apply consumer psychology into our marketing, because ultimately what all of this is about is understanding in and out, like in and out, the people that you are meant to serve. And when you really, really understand that, and I cannot stress this enough, it's really, marketing becomes easier and becomes fun, because it's not about how much I'm selling and how can I sell. It's just about serving your people. And what happens when you're serving your people? What happens when you're truly solving their problems and they're getting results? The sales will come, you know? So um, before we talk about, how to market yourself, we also need to understand how your customer is actually finding you in the first place. And the number one way that people find you is that, Google. Google is still the king of search engines, okay? And that means if you're not showing up in Google, you might be invisible to most of your potential customers. And we'll get into how to use Google as a way to grow your business as well. And another one is that reviews. I want to talk about reviews because this is a thing that happens we talk about with a lot of our digital marketing clients with Business Link, is that reviews matter more than ever. Why? Just think about the last time you looked up a business. Did you look at the reviews? How many reviews are there? Did you pick the one that has the most reviews, right? So people don't trust businesses that they just see online anymore. Trust other people and what people are saying about their business. And that is also a big deciding factor of how people decide to choose your business over your competitors, right? Your reviews are ultimately, it's doing the selling for you before you even say a word, right? So it's use it as a tool, use it as your marketing partner. So get into the habit of asking every customer to leave you a review, okay? And then social media, social media is so big in this day and age. And I always tell people that social media, doctors are making content, plumbers are making content, lawyers are making content, because there is that essential of like content creation and social media, because that is also becoming a search engine in itself, right? People are always on their phones scrolling all day, right? So we're going to be talking about social media as well today, and how to create content and your content pillars and such. And then another thing too is that your website and your search engine optimization should work together, and making sure when someone searches for what you offer, you show up. And then we're going to get into a deeper into it. And then I also want to talk about the AI search. The way people are searching online now is again changing. The way 6 months ago was how people are searching AI, and then now it's only June. People are searching AI, using AI differently again, right? It's constantly evolving. But and people are asking AI to recommend businesses now. I don't know if you guys do this, but I definitely do this. I go on my chat GPT and I say, I need to find the closest Shoppers Drug Mart or something, or the closest Korean restaurant. And because people are kind of lazy to go through that information themselves sometimes, and people's attention spans are so short, they want everything instantly. So how can you populate in that AI search? That's something that, business owners are now still thinking about that as well. So let's talk about search engine optimization, and we're just going to go through the basics today. But in plain language, SEO is how you make Google want to show your website and social pages to people who are looking for what you offer, okay? When someone types best electrician in Edmonton, Google picks from thousands of websites to show and choosing which one to show on the first page, right? SEO is how you help Google understand your website deserves to be there, deserves to be at the top, or at least, within the first page, right? And the beautiful thing about SEO is that SEO keeps working for you even when you're not paying for it. So you do them once, and then you also just update them, every quarter or so, just to make sure that they're up to date, and that keeps working on you. It's very low maintenance. And then there are also two types of SEO. There's an on-page SEO and off-page SEO, and they both matter because the on-page SEO is what you control directly on your website, such as your headings, your page titles, the words you use, and how fast your website loads. So off-page is what happens outside of your website, so other sites linking to you, your Google business profile, your reviews, and social media signals as well. So think of on page as making your house look great, and then off page as getting your neighbors to recommend you to everyone they know. Okay. And then you're probably wondering, like, how can we use search engine optimization? Like, what are keywords, right? And I want you to think about, again, your target audience, right? The words and the phrases that your customers type into Google when they're looking for your business like yours. And the key insight is that you want to use your customers' language, not the words that you would use as an expert in your industry. For example, like a mechanic near me, right? You're not going to type catalytic converter replacement. What does their customer actually asking? They're asking, why is my car loud when I start it? Why is my car not working, right? Like, do you see the difference of languaging here? So making sure that we are using simple language and actually the words that your customers are actually using. So your job is to think like your customer and use those exact words throughout your website. And this is why target audience is also, again, reiterating it, really important to know who your target audience is. Okay. And then I want to just quickly go through how do keywords work, right? So number one, search engine analyzes your page content. They scan the words on your page to understand its subjects and its themes, right? And then number two is that the pages are indexed by topic and keywords, okay? This page is stored and categorized based on the keywords that it contains. So the more keywords you have on your website, for example, mechanic or car, or even just like, let's just say food, but even more specific is like either Indian or tacos or sushi and things like that. So making sure that we're using the right keywords. And then a user enters the keywords into the search, right? So the search engine interprets the meaning and the intent behind those words, okay? So if someone is saying, looking for the best sushi place near me, or taco place near me, or the best salon near me, or nail place near me, those are really important keywords, of course, depending to your business, right? And then for the relevant pages that are retrieved and ranked, it's always the best matches for keywords are the ones that showed above. So for the search engine optimization, again, this is how to increase your local visibility, okay? Number one is I always recommend to claim your Google business profile because it's free and it's easier for your customers to find you when they can find you on Google and when you have a Google page. Because it says on your Google page, it'll say your hours, you can also post content on your Google page, so it's easier for your customers to understand and know what you do. The description of your services and products, and also again, right, like the reviews, right? After today, I want to make it a habit for everybody to ask every customers to leave you a Google review, even sending a quick text with the link, and make it so much easier for your customer to leave you a Google review. A strategy that I go through with my clients is that when a customer is finished with their product or service, they have an automated email that sends directly to their customers with the link of the to leave a Google review, right? The easier it is to for our customers to just do that one click and then leave a review, the more reviews that we can have. So always thinking about how we can make it easier for our customers to leave that review. And then one last thing, I won't go through all of them, but one thing that is very, very important is mobile optimization. It is literally a non-negotiable because over half of the web traffic is on their phone, right? Because our phones is with us literally 24/7. So if your website kind of looks off or broken and it's having a hard time to load, people will leave instantly. So making sure that mobile optimization is working well. Okay.
So from the commented regarding reviews, if it's risky in case of bad reviews, or is it okay?
Okay, so that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. So, how to handle bad reviews? This is my personal recommendation. Not everyone's gonna love you, right? And that's completely understandable. The way I recommend to handle a bad review is to respond to that review so that other customers or other potential customers can see how you're handling that bad reviews. Because one thing is to have all of these good reviews, and some people are going to have those bad reviews. But one thing that, I mean, what would you look for when if you see a business that had a bad review? You want to know how they handled that bad review, how they corrected it, how they made it better, right? And that kind of attitude towards a bad review will not only help you grow as a business owner, but also displays your character to the people that are deciding to choose your business over others. I hope that answers your question. Okay. And just a quick note as well, we will also leave about 15 minutes at the end of this workshop to answer questions as well, and how Business Link can help you. Okay, and the second topic that we're going to go through today is the website optimization basics, and how to optimize your website. And have you guys heard of the hero section before? So ultimately, what the hero section is the first thing that someone sees on your website. It is prime real estate on your website because it's the first thing that people see before they scroll down, right? And research shows that most people decide in under 5 seconds whether they're going to stay on your website or leave your website, right? Just think about your own behavior. When was the last time? How did you decide when you're going to scroll and read a website versus leave the website, right? The common mistakes I see that business owners is that they put their business name as a headline. But your name doesn't really tell what you do. It doesn't tell me why I should care as a customer, right? Instead of something like custom cakes delivered to Edmonton, for example, if you have a bakery, right? Instead of putting like Crizelle's Bakery, put as a hero section, custom cakes delivered in Edmonton. Or if you're a plumbing company, instead of saying Crizelle's Plumbing Company, say trusted plumbing repair available the same day. It's anything that is easy for your customers to understand. It explains what you do and who it's for and what they do next. So to really optimize your hero section, I would take a screenshot of this and make sure that these 3 questions is answered within 5 seconds. And I know 5 seconds sounds like a short amount of time, but just think about how people are scrolling all day. Everyone's attention span is literally the most fried it's ever been. And people literally decide within a millisecond if they're going to stay on your content or not. So the same kind of goes on the website, okay? Um, and then lastly, I want to make sure that you are putting a call to action button and make it very specific to your customers, right? So let's just say for the plumbing company, right? Instead of Crizel Plumbing Company, you're going to put trusted plumbing repair available on the same day. And then I would recommend right beside it, you're going to do call now or book a consultation or buy now or shop now or browse my shop, things like that. So people are, as soon as they get their information or they read the information, people are always looking to do what to do next. And instead of them leaving and hoping that they'll find your call to action bottom at the very bottom of your website, making sure that it's easy for them to see, it's easy for them to click. Because again, people are so cold these days that they only give you 5 seconds to decide if they're going to choose your business or not. So we want to make sure that our website is optimized for those time that they are spending on your website. Okay. And for optimization, website optimization basics as well, is that people don't read your websites anymore. People scan, right? I also want to just bring it back to you. When was the last time you read a website word for word? Did you actually read it or did you scan it, right? Everyone's attention span, like I said, are just fried these days. So people are just jumping and looking to be stimulated on your website. They want to know it's fast and they want to just leave fast and they want to take action fast. So making sure that when you're thinking about your customers, like it's easy for them to understand and it's easy for them to know what action to take next. Okay. So that means that simple and short sentences, plain language, don't try to make it like fancy, because a fun fact that I want to share with you guys today is this concept called fluency effect. And when something is easy to understand, and I just want you to think about like your own experience, okay? When something is easy to understand, our brain registers it as trustworthy right away because we subconsciously think this person knows what they're talking about, because clarity signals authority and complexity signals like complex word, complex sentences signals confusion. Okay. So if your website is full of long paragraphs, complicated words, it might actually be working against you. And yeah, so now one thing is that I've been seeing work really well, like in 2026 of July, is founder videos. Short 1 to 2 minute video of you, who you are, what you do, why it matters to your customers. It doesn't have to be like a fancy production either. It's just you being real. So because people love videos these days, and I've been seeing a lot of founders doing like a short, I think 45 seconds is a really good time slot for them to just get to know you and want to stay on your website a little bit longer. Because again, like Bob Berg said earlier, right? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. So a video lets them see your face, hear your voice, and start to feel like they know you before they even reach you. And I think that's really powerful. Okay. And I know I've been talking for the last 35 minutes now, so I'll just give everyone a 5 minute break and we'll come back at 12:40. Okay, about 1 minute left of the break, guys. Okay. And before we begin our second half, I just want to take a picture. This will go on our socials for Business Link Alberta. And this is also just practicing what I preach about what we're going to dive into, which is content creation and social media marketing. So don't worry, guys, your guys' face won't be in it. I just have to take a picture for the marketing team. So if you want to smile, you can smile, but okay. Okay. I think that should be good for now. All right. Now, okay, you guys, I want you guys to really pay attention to this segment of our workshop because this is such a big topic. And if you haven't already known as a business owner, this is just has become a branch of a business. So you know how you have finance, you have accounting, now social media marketing is also a big part of that. And that's just the truth and the reality of where we live in 2026, right? So I want you to think of social media, right, as a place where you can gain a lot of visibility. Because again, where are people spending most of their time in the day? Right? Where did you spend the last 30 minutes of your day? Even the 5 minutes, right? Did you check your phone? Right? So those are eyeballs that we can have for our business, right? So social media is one of the most powerful free tools available to you as a business owner. Think about why every single business owner is literally getting on this, right? And the biggest mistake I see people do is that they try to be everywhere at once. They want to be on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and LinkedIn and Pinterest and YouTube, which is fine. I'm grateful and I'm happy to see that you want to be everywhere. But that's a recipe for burnout. And that's why people disappear. And then they don't post for a long time. And then they say social media didn't work for you. So my goal here is social media marketing and content creation in a very sustainable way. And I only recommend to pick 1 to 2 platforms that you can do really well because 5 platforms that's done poorly, just think about which one is going to have more success, right? So pick a platform where your customer spends most of their time and show up consistently. So the top platforms that I know where people are spending their time is Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, right? Okay. And let's talk about content creation, the one job that a lot of business owners I know because I speak to them all the time, they're dreading this. Like, I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't know how to edit videos and things like that. So, my goal is to make it a little bit easier for you guys. So, at least at the end of this presentation and workshop, you can start to apply this information right away. So, what content actually means is it's not selling, okay? It's not about here, buys my product in my service, right? But it's about how I just want you to think about the accounts that you follow, okay? Do you follow them because they constantly sell to you? Do you follow them because they give you so much valuable information, right? No, you follow them because they teach you something, they entertain you, they make you laugh, they inspire you, and you probably feel understood when you are interacting with their content. Just think about like one business or one content creator that you love following. Okay. Think about why you love following them. Okay. And now I want you to take that feeling because I want you to take to for your target audience, your specific target audience to feel that for your business. Okay. And content And that is why the content your audience wants from, and that is the type of content that the audience want from you. So the framework that I use for this is the 3 C's. And number one, clarity. Like I said earlier, the fluent effect. When it's easy and clear and simple, people think that you're an expert. Okay. So say what you do in the simplest way possible, like a 10-year-old can understand it. Okay. Consistency. You hear this all the time, and I know it. How you need to be consistent in your content creation, yada yada yada. Because why, right? Do you like a content creator or a business owner who shows up here and there? Maybe we understand because we're a business owners too, and it's hard to create content, and it's like a full-time job. But your customers might not understand. Your customers might expect you to show up regularly because showing up regularly builds trust, right? You don't need to post every day. That's not what I'm asking, but you need to post regularly. So show up on a schedule that your audience can count on. If it's once a week, that's fine. But what we don't want to do is post 7 times this week and then disappear for the next 7 weeks, right? Once a week for the next 52 weeks is way better than 52 times in 1 week and then disappear on the next few weeks, right? So just can think about consistency in that way. And then number 3 is like your character, right? Show your personality. It's your brand secret weapon, whether you believe it or not, because your personality, your story, your voice, that is not that no competitor can copy that. Okay. And again, that's your secret weapon. So clarity, consistency, and character. And those 3 alone will transform your social media. But let's apply those 3 C's, okay? Clarity, consistency, and character into your content pillars, right? You probably have heard this term, like, what is a content pillar? You hear social media gurus saying you need 3 or 4 or 5 content pillars. And this is actually really important. So you never have to ask, like, what do I post again? Like, when was the last time you planned for your content? Or maybe when was the last time you post for your content? Did you wake up that morning and did you say, like, what should I post today? So content pillars will have you avoid that problem. Okay. So content pillar is simply think of it as the main topics that your brand talks about, right? Think of them as buckets. Every piece of content falls into a specific bucket. And I'll have an example for this and it'll be easier for you to understand. But ultimately, think about 3 to 4 main topics right now that your brand talks about consistently. Okay. So to find your content pillars, I don't want you to come from what you want to talk about. Again, let's go back to the basic. Let's talk about what your customer needs to hear. This is why target audience and value proposition is very, very important, right? Start with the questions that you get asked over and over again. I tell my clients all the time that, like, I don't know what they say. I don't know what content to create. Literally, your customers are asking you questions all the time. Create content about that. You'll probably have like 3 or 5 or 10 on top of your head right now. And make sure that we're keeping all of that in a content library to stay organized, because your customer is literally telling you what they want to learn from you, right? Just pay attention to what they're saying, really care about their problems, their desires, and all that stuff, and you'll never run out of content, in my opinion. Okay. So ask yourself the 3 questions of, what problem does my customer have that you can help with, that your product and your service can help with? What do you want to be known for, right? What do you want to be known for in your industry, right? And then what questions do you get asked the most, okay? And based on that, we can build a content pillar, okay? So this is an example for a local bakery, right? This is 4 things that you can use, for example, if you're a local bakery, right? A pillar would be behind the scenes. And what that looks like is the baking process. Maybe it's you at the market. Maybe it's you grocery shopping. Maybe it's you anything that is, you testing, recipe testing, right? Another pillar is customer stories. People love seeing other people use the product first. No one likes going first. And when they see other people enjoying your product, enjoying your service, getting results, it brings down the walls of and the ability to trust you more, right? So for example, for this local bakery, customer enjoying baked goods, right? Just think about the content around your industry. How are they executing their content creation? Visit their social media pages and get ideas from there too. Another pillar is education, right? We don't want to just entertain all day and just show what we're doing all day. We want to give value. So another content pillar idea is education. So for a local bakery, is it the baking tips? Is it ingredient breakdowns? Why I use all-purpose flour instead of pastry flour when I'm making a croissant. I'm not sure if that's actually the flour that you use, but just things like that. The people are questioning in their mind, but they're not saying out loud, right? And then promo and specials, right? We don't want to just entertain. We don't just want to educate, right? We also want to sell because, I mean, it's a business. We have to make money, right? So talk about your promos, talk about your special offers. And people are constantly looking at this in their content, in your content. And then let's also talk about why most content plans fail. Like I said earlier, right? Like burnout is real, and the goal is truly to create a sustainable system. Because if it's once a week, I'd rather you do once a week for the next 52 weeks than 7 this week and none for the next 7 weeks, right? The most business owners, like they start strong. Yes, I'm going to make content. Yes, I'm going to film. Yes, I'm going to plan. I'm going to make all these things. But just remember, think about your capacity and think about, what you can actually handle and execute based on your capacity for that sustainability to build up over time, right? Just think about your experience right now. How many times did you say, I'm going to create content and you did it for 3 days and you kind of like disappeared for a month? Right? It happens to all of us, right? And there's no shame in that. But this is just me, bringing awareness to what's not working and what might work for you moving forward. So what does it take to build a system that you can actually stick to? I want you to do it right now to pick 1 to 2 platforms. Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it both, right? Set a realistic posting schedule. Is it once a week? Is it 3 times a week? Is it 7 days a week? Whatever it is, just making sure that we can be realistic with it because it needs to be sustainable and we need to be able to execute it. And I want you to think about batch creating your content, from one content piece, how many pieces of content can we recreate from that? From one idea, how many pieces of content can we recreate from that? If, for example, if you're a bakery, because that was my example, today I'm baking, can I show them the process of what I'm baking? Before I got the ingredients to my kitchen, can I show them the process of how I pick the ingredients at the grocery store, right? On that same day, can I show them how I'm boxing my baked goods, And another content pillar that a lot of people use is that they just prompt their phone and then they just film themselves, B-roll type of content. And then they edit it later and do a voiceover if you don't feel like you want to do face to cam right now, right? But it's really important to repurpose everything because one idea can be one post, one reel, one story, and that can make it easier for you, right? And then I always recommend plan 1 to 2 weeks ahead because when you plan, you're saving your brain cells for the other parts of your business and for the execution, right? And again, that adds to the sustainability factor, okay? So, for example, a simple weekly rhythm, right? 3 posts a week. I feel like this is executionable, right? Number 1 is an educational post. Teach something valuable. Here's how to pick the best flour for your cookies and why, right? Number 2, 1 connection post. This is when I made my first cookie. It was with my grandmother, la 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 la, share your story. People connect to that story, right? And then 1 action post. Here's how you can buy these cookies today that I learned from my grandmother. And if you can't make it yourself, check out my last video about how to pick the best flour. You know how that all connects together? So 3 posts, 3 purposes, and I feel like that's a really good starting point. Okay, and I hope that you can see this in your screen, but this is your client's journey when they're looking for a solution and a product online, right? They typically are at the top. They have a problem and they're searching for a product or a solution. Then they discover you, right? That's the next step. They either see you on Google, they were scrolling, they stumble upon your social media, and maybe it's word of mouth, right? And then what happens when they discover you? They check you out. They visit your profile. They read your content. They look at reviews, right? And those things ultimately, they build trust over time. And that's the reason why they follow you. That's the reason why they save your content. And that's the reason why they keep coming back. And when they're ready to buy, they visit your website. They read your services, your facts page, about page, testimonials, right? And when they're ready to take the action, they finally book and buy or call or fill out the contact form. And then they become your customers, which what the point of digital marketing is for people to have more access to your product and services and become your customers, right? And then once they become your customer and they have a happy experience, a wonderful experience, they leave a review. They tell their friends or they share your content, right? So I want you to maybe take a screenshot of how it all connects together and how each piece of what we talked about connect with each other and how they are all important, okay? And lastly, now that you know how to create content, website optimization, SEO, how can we turn those visibilities into inquiries? And some of this are just being reiterated, which is number 1, clear message. You have to make it obvious and simple of what to do next on your website, your profile, and just really making it super simple for people to understand why they should choose you and what you do and why you're the solution to their problems, okay? Number 2 is responding fast. People, like I said, attention span short, right? They want everything fast, right? That's the kind of world we live in now. And I know it might not be possible all the time, but when you can, respond as often and as fast as you can, right? And number 3 is knowing your customers, right? When you know your customers in and out, it's like content creation and digital marketing becomes easier, right? Because one size does not fit all. But your business is a one size for one customer, if that makes sense. So just know your customer. And number 4 is very, very important. Again, leverage your existing clients. Get them to leave the reviews. Get them to refer you, right? People love supporting small businesses, right? You love supporting small businesses. So ask those people to, give you reviews and refer you to their friends and family, because those are the best marketers, and word of mouth is the most, effective until this day, right? But before we get them to be talking about you, they have to find you digitally first, because that's where everyone is looking for. That's where everyone's spending their time on. Okay. And before we get into Q&A, I want to talk about how Business Link can help your small business. If you don't already know, Business Link is a non-for-profit, and we've been around for about 30 years now. And we have a lot of different services, but we ultimately help Alberta entrepreneurs start or grow their business. So what we do here at Business Link is we give you one-on-one business advice. So one of the things that is really great about Business Link is that you're not just talking to an AI bot or anything like that. You're talking to an actual human being, one-on-one, and with business coaching and just connecting you to the resources that you might need to help you grow your business or start your business. We also have secondary market research, interactive business plan builder that you can do online. We also do business plan reviews and programs that help entrepreneurs start and succeed their business. We have a lot of business education as well. So we do a lot of webinars, workshops like this one. We have a YouTube page that is filled with so much information and webinars that we've done over the years, and also our newsletter. And then the programs that we offer, number one, we have the Business Launch Program. This is the heart of Business Link. And this is one of the this is the most popular program, I would say, that we have at Business Link. But ultimately, if you have a business idea, we help you define your business concept and conduct a market research. And then we help you learn about financing options and develop financial statements and create a business model and plan as well. The digital marketing program. So I'm a part of the digital marketing program as a digital marketing strategist. So ultimately what you get is an expert advice on optimizing and refining your website page. Also develop social media strategy to engage with more customers and just learn the key tips to help your customers find your business through online search. So everything that you learned today in this workshop, we do it together one-on-one, okay? And I will get John to possibly email you guys the information on how to sign up for the digital marketing program and work with us specifically. And then we also have this Peerpreneur. This is also a very sought out program here that we have at Business Link. We understand that the entrepreneurship journey can sometimes be lonely, it can be hard, and sometimes not relatable to our friends and family, right? So the heart of the Peerpreneur is to just have a open and collaborative learning experience with other entrepreneurs to tackle about business challenges together, right? To build meaningful connections and support systems, a support system with like-minded business owners, because community is really, really important, especially in a journey like entrepreneurship. And yeah, we also have our weekly webinars that you can find on our YouTube or our website. And we also do a lot of community and networking events just to gain insight of the industry leaders, learn and connect, and meet fellow entrepreneurs and experts.